This is what I'm saying.
I feel like warms the heart makes sense, but what's a cockle?
Welcome to Recommendations Required, a podcast where two best friends try to find their next obsession, and maybe so will you. I'm Ryan Mion.
And I'm Glenn Brown.
And we're back. Here we are. 2 weeks. We've been cranking these out.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. I don't know if we can keep saying that if it's the same. I feel like we say that almost every time, and it's like...
Well, you have to think of the people listening to this are listening to it 2 weeks apart. So there's spacing for them. That's longer than ours.
Well, and we were chatting too, because I think ever since virtual, we've really been able to crank them out because we live an hour apart. So being able to just like do it at our home and
record
office
remotely,
is huge.
Get some on the backlog.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think there needs to be a certain amount of episodes in the backlog where I'm like, okay, let's maybe go to every week.
Yeah, that would be nice.
I don't know. We'll see.
Don't want to get people's hopes up though. Both of our lives are crazy.
If you guys share it and
gets
more listens, we will definitely do once a week.
Yeah.
Gun's like, no, please.
No one listened to this.
So I have an opener.
Okay.
I think it's been a while since we've talked about this. I want to talk about something I consumed.
Okay.
And hated.
Okay.
And didn't like.
I need this. I love it.
So when this episode comes out, it'll be into November.
Yes.
But
November
right now
2nd.
we're recording and we're in the swing of October. We're getting into the spooky.
Sure.
So Jack and I love watching spooky TV shows. And
spooky
I think
TV shows. Okay.
And I think because movies can be almost a little bit too much scary for Jackie because it's so.
Oh, okay.
It tends to be but sometimes scary TV shows are never really
that scary.
Sure. So that's what we've been watching. So we've watched, not this year, but we've watched The Haunting on Hill House,
awesome.
Haunting of Bill Manor or Bly Manor.
Bly Manor, yeah.
And so we watched
Good
two other shows recently.
Okay.
Which this is little side. So we watched Midnight Club and Midnight Mass.
Okay.
So I'm assuming these are all the same.
I think
production
the same
company
creator.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Creator, because it's the actors are all the same.
Yep.
Which I like. The first time when I went from Haunting of Hill House to Bly Manor, I was like, what is going on?
It throws you off a little bit.
Yeah. Once I got it, I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Whatever. I vibe with it. So I want to talk about the Midnight Club.
The Midnight Club. Okay, that's the one of the four I have not seen.
So you've seen Midnight Mass.
I have seen Midnight Mass.
So, let's put a little hold on that then.
Okay.
The Midnight Club, and we just finished Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Really?
I really liked Midnight Mass.
I was not expecting that reaction from you.
I thought it was a great, maybe one of the best out of this series of shows. Out of all of these, I think this is top for me.
You thought Midnight Mass was top?
I thought Midnight Mass was the best out of Bly Manor, Hill House, Midnight Club.
Oh, I think it was the weakest of the three I saw.
Really?
I'm in the other direction. Yeah. Wow.
So okay. So
interesting.
Maybe we need to park it here. Maybe this needs to be the. What was your reasoning for this feeling like the weakest compared to the others?
Okay, so it has been a little bit since I watched all three, but I think I started with Hill House, which is that's
the first one.
That's the woman in the lake, right?
No, that's Bly Manor.
That's Bly Manor. Okay,
Hill House is the mom.
Okay, so I started with Bly Manor then, with the woman in the lake.
Okay.
Thought it was okay. Then I went to Hill House and loved it. I think Hill House is my favorite out of the three.
Yeah.
I just loved what was going on with each of the kids and how they experienced things in different ways.
Yep.
And I just loved the dynamics that were happening in that show. And then I really liked parts of Midnight Mass, But there were other parts that it felt like it got a little cheesy and like weird and like almost, I don't know, almost like a little like Scooby-Doo monster kind of going on where
interesting.
I don't know. I felt like the CGI on the monster and stuff was just a little weird, and I don't know. It felt like parts of it got a little corny, but
interesting. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
At
least that's what I remember of it.
For me, I feel like Midnight Mass is not that scary, first off.
No.
There's very little
actual
horror elements. But I think what it does is Hunting on Hill House, is like about mental health and how a parent with mental health like affects the kids in really different ways and how that progresses and returning to your home to deal with a trauma. Like I can't remember Bly Manor. I think that was kind of more around abuse.
Yeah, well,
I can't like totally like how trauma creates a vortex where you keep hurting the people around you.
Yeah,
like if
definitely.
It's been a while since I watched it.
No, I think that's totally accurate, and I think my biggest complaint with Bly Manor was that the pacing of the show was really off. It was like really slow for like a majority of the show, and then like the last 2 episodes, they just dumped the entire plot on you like in one go. And I was like, why weren't you like sprinkling this throughout the show? It was just like nothing, dump. I was
I think Midnight Mass did a really good job of sprinkling.
It did do a better job.
And like, I can see why people might not like it, but I feel like out of all the Midnight Mass, I think it talks about faith, it talks about mortality, it talks about religion. It's way like how people use it for good and for evil. I like loved that they took on a really ongoing trope and brought something new to it that felt actually fresh, and actually played into the themes that they were talking about. So like, without giving too much away, I mean, like, and that's not even the one I want to talk about, but like, I love Midnight Mass. We just finished it. I really enjoyed it.
I do want to say that the sheriff in Midnight Mass, and he also plays the chef in Bly
Manor.
I love him as an actor.
He's great.
I want to see more of that guy.
Like
everything he was in, I was like, I love this dude on screen.
He always plays the super like inviting character who you feel willing to trust.
Yes. Yeah. He feels so like genuine. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the show that we watched before Midnight Mass was Midnight Club.
Yes.
Which like, it's annoying that it's like the Haunting on Hill House and then the Haunting of Bly Manor and then Midnight Mass and then Midnight Club.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of annoyed. Like, I'm just like, just give them all different enough
names.
Like, so I don't know, whatever. But the thing to me about Midnight Club, and maybe it's why I liked Midnight Mass so much, was all these kids have terminal illnesses. So forms of cancer or AIDS or whatever. And it kind of takes place in like, I think Stranger Things era. Like everything takes place now. And all these kids are in this house. New girl comes in. She finds out that there's some interesting, weird, spooky things about the house that like someone has left totally healed that had the same type of cancer as her. So she goes hoping to figure out what's going on. She finds the kids, and then the kids have this tradition that every night at midnight, they all meet up in the library and they all tell each other ghost stories. And like, then they find things, but like, here's the thing. The whole show is really just what I explained.
Yeah.
And all the other spooky or weird stuff is really no correlation or connection to anything about this. And like, you could tell the feeling I got was like they had this cool concept and they wanted to kind of dive into like, how do we deal with our mortality and how do kids deal with this mortality and like some of the really nuanced ideas around that. But like, it was mostly a half-baked idea in a house, and then the stories were all individual scary stories. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them were actually good. But it would be like, hey, we're going to put a hold on all the mystery for a second, dive into this thing that has nothing to do with anything else.
Just a random side plot.
Here's a
story
random side
that's
story.
Not connected?
It's connected because it's the kid telling the story is like kind of revealing part of their story through the story thing. But it's still it's not enough for me to care, and it's not. Once you're like, okay, that's you eventually get to a point where it feels like you're watching a cutscene. You're like, I don't actually care. This is a fake story.
Yeah.
Can we get to what's actually happening in the house?
See,
and then there's no payoff to that.
When you were first describing it, I was thought like, oh, like obviously these ghost stories that they're telling are going to be like versions of flashbacks, like to their their childhood, and
which
be
it starts
like
really strong,
rooted in their past, and like
yep.
But if it's just like a tertiary side story that's not connected, that's super weird.
But it's like, and they do that, but they also don't do it enough to the point where you're like, oh, now I know more about the character.
Yeah, I feel like you need to do like a Slumdog Millionaire thing where like their flashback ghost story actually reveals something about the main plot that's going on.
Yes,
without the main character knowing or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do some cool lead-on stuff early on, and I think that's the thing is like you're watching, and you're like, this is dope. Like this is cool. What's going on? What's this twist? Some of them start hallucinating and seeing stuff, and they're like, oh, it's just the meds, but like we're having the same hallucination. So how do you make sense of that?
Gotcha.
And then it's like they just don't explain anything, and it kind of ends in this like, oh, not. And then they kind of do this thing where it's like, oh, nothing was supernatural. It was just the supernatural stuff was all of our stories. I'm like, I can dig that. And then right at the end, they do a little like, oh,
or was it?
Or was it? And I'm like, this is nothing.
Just land on something. Oh my god.
And like the big resolution at the end is like through a story that you just don't care about. And I remember like sitting there. And I don't know if you've experienced this feeling, but like you're watching something, you've been hooked, you're hoping that there's going to be answers, and you're just kind of thinking in the back of your head like, we've got like 10 minutes left. They're not gonna.
Yeah,
it's just not, you feel
it's
like
not
your
gonna
hope
swing through.
is slowly dwindling away for answers or some substantial ending. You're like, there is nothing that they can do right now that can end this. And I think that's been my issue with
worst
them.
Feeling
with all these shows in the past is like really cool build-ups, but kind of like they built the ramp and then didn't quite build the other ramp to land on.
Yeah.
And it's like some of them, but I feel like that was my one thing with Midnight Mass. I felt like that was like beginning to end. They knew where it was going.
Yeah, I think it did follow through.
It felt slow. I think if you're going in with the other feelings of the shows of like lots of hauntings and scaries and pop-ups, there's like very little of that, and it's very much like a slow burn drama, which I think only makes the end that much more impactful. But so I liked Midnight Mass, but man, Midnight Club
was disappointment.
And it's one of those things where it's like at least a bad show, you can be 3 episodes in and go like, you know what? I don't need to finish this.
Yeah.
But this was like good. It was like 10 episodes. And it was good, like really solid.
Good enough that you had to finish it.
And I was like, well, I need to know. And then you just slowly go, it's not going to land.
I can't do it. Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a plane.
This plane ain't landing.
Yeah. I'm like, he hasn't pulled the wheels out yet.
Oopsie-daisy.
And we're getting closer to the ground.
It's too late to pull the parachute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, man, there's a couple other spooky movies that I want to watch. You watched Barbarian or no?
I did watch Barbarian.
Okay, so you hated it.
I watched it thinking I was going to bring it to this podcast because there was so much hype around it, and I hated it.
You hated it.
It was not good.
Dominic loved it, and Justin also was not a fan of it.
It was not good.
So I feel like I need to watch it. But that, and then the other one that came out is Talk to Me, or Keep Talking to Me. I think it's Talk to Me.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
That one looks really good. Talk to Me. Just came out. A24 film. Looks really bizarre. But yeah, that's my disappointment for the week.
Bummer. At least you got 3 solid hits out of 4, on the shows. Ooh, not 3?
No, I don't know if I'd say 3. I think Midnight Mass feels significant. That feels like significant standout compared to the others when you're talking about purely like writing, concept.
Interesting.
Like,
okay.
I think like we've talked about this before, but like I like a scary movie that actually dives into something.
Yeah, of course.
When it's this kind of more scary for being scary's sake, it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
And I felt like Haunted Hill House did a good job of that. I feel like Bly Manor touched a little bit on that, but it also felt so similar to Haunted Hill House that I was like, is this the same house? Like there was like all these I don't like
yeah. Felt too similar.
Yeah, a little bit. Like
Okay.
I like the concepts, but I'd have to rewatch it. It's been a while. But do you have any good scary movies or TV shows or like
man,
things that you would like actively return to, or because you're not big into horror?
I watch so much horror because Holly likes horror, and I am not a fan of horror. Mostly because horror just like I need plot. Like your movie has to have plot, or I'm tapping out. I don't care what genre you are. You need plot. I'm sorry. Like. Like I just can't. And most horror movies just don't have good plot. Like they're just not interesting enough to keep me hooked, and I feel like I don't get scared. Like I don't have that gene that like gets me worked up or scared from horror movies.
I was going to say from horror movies.
From horror movies specifically. There's I feel like my brain is just too logical to the point where I'm like, this is just a movie. It can't scare me kind of thing. Unless it's like very, very suspenseful thrillers tends to be like more my vein that I enjoy.
Okay.
Because suspenseful thrillers that aren't going for like jump scare horror or like gore horror actually have plot. Like they usually have a plot to them.
Yeah.
So they hold for me. But yeah, I don't know very many horror movies that I would recommend, I guess. I'm having trouble pulling any right now, actually. Or horror shows. I feel like I've watched so many and I can't think of a single one, but I guess that is a testament to how memorable they are.
Because I raved about Hereditary, and then you watched it on an airplane.
Okay. When I rewatched Hereditary, the real version, it was quite good. I liked Hereditary. I liked Midsummer.
I haven't seen Midsummer.
Midsummer was really good.
Okay.
Midsummer, like that rocked me. That like because it wasn't jump horror. It was like gut wrenching suspense horror. You know, like the good stuff.
The name of the director is totally disappearing on my brain, but I feel like that's his sweet spot.
That's his thing. Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna name some like spooky movies. You just give me yes or no whether you've seen it.
Okay.
It Follows.
Yes, love it.
Babadook.
Yes, love it.
Lighthouse. I wouldn't necessarily call it scary,
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay. There was another one.
I'm thinking like Shutter Island. I really enjoy, but that's not horror.
I would say is that
horror?
I wouldn't call it horror, but I think it walks that line of horror and thriller.
Suspense thriller. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other scary movies recently that I've seen. Oh, you haven't seen Skinamarink?
No.
I don't think I'll suggest that. Maybe one day when I want you
I've seen a lot of the Conjuring movies, and they're like okay, not my favorite.
I'm sure I've talked about it on this podcast, but I think that the two hardest type of movies to pull off is horror and comedy. And I think they're the movies that are often done the most because people think that the response of laughter or the response of getting frightened is the core of what makes those movies good. The more scared I am watching the movie, the better of a horror film it is, or the more I laugh, the better of a comedy. And I don't think that's the case.
I'm not on that wavelength. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's like both of them should help us laugh or put a face to a fear of ours. Like it should be able to dive into deeper stuff for me. That's like my sign of like, okay, this is a good horror film or this is a good comedy.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's got to, at the end of the day, it's got to say something. Like you can't.
Yes, exactly.
You can't just throw something scary on the screen for an hour. Like that's not a movie, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually a YouTuber that I should recommend this time. That might be an interesting one. He literally just does video essays on horror films. And talks about his perspective on it, where they came from, other movies that inspired it. kind of what are they trying to say? Does he feel like it works? Really, really interesting. Ryan Hollander, I think is his name. Let me just double check. And he's, I think, Scottish. Hollinger. Either he's Scottish or I think he's Irish. So which makes his videos a lot easier to watch.
Cool.
Okay, that's my soapbox.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a long intro.
No, love it. Should we talk Unrailed?
Yeah, I think we should talk Unrailed.
Okay. Let's do it.
So you didn't set me up like you said. I'm going to call you out on that. You're like, "Oh, I got you. I'll set you up." And you sure didn't.
I didn't fall through. Okay. I didn't get to play with you, so I'm interested to see what your play experience was like then without me guiding it.
So I think the one thing is I've only played with a max of 2 people.
Oh no, that's
the
not
most
the same.
That's
not
the most
same.
I played.
Okay.
So the max people I've played with is 2 people. So we might need to put a pin in this recommendation. Like I will give you my opinions on it.
Okay. Yeah,
and
give me some initial opinions, and we might have to circle back once you've played with at least 4. Like 4 makes the game really good.
Okay. I love it.
Oh, really?
I really like this game.
Yay!
And everything I thought I would feel playing this game was not the case at all.
Oh, sweet.
And
okay.
I think the other thing is Jackie really loved it, which is very rare for her for games. So that's a big plus. And like, so we would just play this like after dinner, and we just did like short ones, you know.
Yeah.
And like Justin and I played a couple, and like I want to play with more people, and like part of me is also glad that like I did a long intro because I don't have much to say about this game other than it's just great. It's super fun. It's just enough chaos where you get these moments where you feel like you're always about to fail.
Yeah.
But it's not the whole game, and it's also like I don't know, there's this sense of balance, and you can I think man, I'm trying to verbalize this. So like Overcooked gets chaotic because they keep throwing more things for you to do on top of yourself.
Yep.
And Unrailed doesn't really do that except for like the things that like steal stuff or your train setting on fire.
Yep.
For the most part,
it's you messing it up.
And you have to think, okay, we need to get it through this mountain, over this river, whatever, but we also have to make sure we have bridges to like get there and get across and make sure we have room to like do whatever. And it's like I never felt like there'd be moments where you jump into a map and you're like, shoot, this is going to be really difficult. And then it starts moving. You're like, okay, we got to go.
Yeah.
And then you like, once you get the problem solved, there's this feeling of like, I'm ahead of it. I've got this. And then you click it and you're good. And like, I just feel like with Overcooked,
you get that puzzle solving itch.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is like sometimes with Overcooked, you feel like we have this good system, and then Overcooked goes, okay, cool, but like here's the next thing, and it's made to kind of mess you up and keep things always chaotic.
Yeah, it almost feels like it just kind of shoots you in the foot to make it harder, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of presenting you a new puzzle in a way.
Which is like I think there's a joy to that that's fun, right? Like Overcooked would also be kind of not super fun if it was just like the 4 of you just did that thing and then it worked.
Yeah.
That's the kind of chaos and the fun to it. But there's something about Unrailed that the challenge doesn't feel cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you do, and then it's like I just have to compare it to Overcooked because those are like the 2 games that feel similar space for me.
Yeah. Like a co-op puzzle kind of.
Co-op puzzle, game. Yeah. PvE kind of thing, if anything.
Group
but like,
task.
Yeah, exactly. And like I saw some other games on Steam that were kind of like that. I was like, I feel like I need to kind of give these a shot. But like, I love the idea of like versus too, where like you have 2 trains going on at the same time.
Yeah. Did you try that?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
Okay. And like, I wanted more people to do versus. Like 1v1 just sounds kind of like not super fun.
No. Yeah. You definitely need at least like 2v2 for that. Yeah. Versus gets kind of fun because it introduces a new mechanic. of it's the same kind of play style where you're trying to just see how far you can get with your train and stuff. But it also introduces cannons. So you can use some of your resources to like load it into a cannon and fire it at the other train to like speed it up or like ruin one of their
that's cool.
Like one of their carts or something like that. So you can just play nice and do a nice little race and not mess with each other, or you can get dirty.
That's fun.
And start firing a cannon at each other.
Yeah,
but you're wasting your own resources doing so. So like,
okay,
because you have to spend your
shot.
Resources to fire the cannon.
That's cool. That's cool.
It's like risk reward thing there. It's fun.
Yeah, I love that. I just want to keep playing more of it. I want to play with more people.
I want to play with you. We got to do it. What how far into like biomes did you get?
So only snow and like the normal forest one.
Okay, just 2 biomes.
Yeah, how many are there?
I haven't. I'm sure I haven't seen them all. I've seen like 5.
Okay.
Like they just kind of keep going. Like I know there's like forest, the normal forest, and then there's snow, and then I think there's like a lava one where like your train overheats really quickly.
Oh, interesting.
And you need to take your bucket to like water geysers instead of like there's no like ponds or anything to fill them up. So you have to like wait for geysers to fire. So it's like harder to cool down your train and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Which is really cool. And you have to build all your bridges have to be metal instead of wood because the wood will just set on fire, which like mixes that up a little bit.
And that was my
every
thing with
biome
this
is
game.
so interesting.
That was my thing with this game too, and like I'm upset that I definitely will play more of it, and I definitely will come back and kind of say, hey, this adjusts my rating of it. But like, it felt like such a tight game.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with the Hades, where it's like. It knows what it is,
and it does it well.
And like, if you vibe with that, then you'll love it. And I thought it was also like a party game that like, I think you could get people into it easier than other games.
Yeah, definitely. It's very like, straightforward.
It's super straightforward. It's super team based. Like I just want to, I want to play more of it. The aesthetic is super great. So that's my only gripe is I love the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the scene, it's really hard to read sometimes with the shadows.
It is occasionally.
And like at first I was like, oh, maybe that's part of it. I'm like, even if I saw it, it would still be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So like we're playing on a TV, so that might be part of it.
Oh, okay.
Like I wonder if it would be really different. It was like just my screen and I was just playing with my guy in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think there was just something to that where like I'm like, where the hell like am I walking into a mountain right now or a river or like what am I? That would be like my only gripe, if any.
Okay, so you played on a TV?
Yeah.
Like were you like hooked up to a Switch or are you playing on PC?
So I played it on my Mac and then I just screened it and then you can hook up as many Xbox controllers you want to
interesting.
Mac, so I just did that and like I was like I need to do
I've only
more
played
of
it
this
online
too.
with people like on PC. So that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a fun way to play it.
It's really fun. And like I think you can have up to 8 controllers hooked up to a Mac.
Nice.
So I'm kind of interested to see
I don't
like,
even know
how
the
many
max
people.
amount of players you can have.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
but.
I would love to play with more people. I don't like other than like the aesthetic kind of getting in the way sometimes.
Yeah.
You might be able to change that and that might be different with like the TV. I don't know if I'm just playing in the wrong
Yeah, I feel like I've
situation,
noticed that too. Sometimes it's like hard to see certain things occasionally. Did you ever get to a place where like bandits started attacking the train?
Yes.
That's
great.
very fun.
Or like the abominable snowman kind of thing.
Yeah,
like the Yeti or whatever would come in and we're like, what are we supposed to do? And he's so tanky and you're just like hitting him.
Hitting
but like
him with a pickaxe.
And it's great because it's a challenge, right? Like it's the game's like, here's this thing you have to deal with or decide not to deal with and just have to, either you have to get rid of him or just deal with whatever he's going to do. But like, and it doesn't take that much time to get rid of him, but every second counts. So the 30 seconds that you're standing there hitting this dude is time that you're not spending creating a pathway or whatever. And so like, I would love to play this with more people too, to be like, your job is just to clear pathway. Your job is just to whatever. So I'm curious to just see how that plays out more and more. When you have 4 people, is there still only one pickaxe?
Yeah, there's still one pickaxe and one
axe.
Axe
and one bucket.
Yep,
Okay.
and one bucket. There's still one of everything. Which it definitely it scales to how many people you have, like difficulty wise pretty well that I've noticed. It just you'll only have one of those things, and then usually one person is like gathering that material and stuff like that.
Got it.
So one person's chopping down trees, the other person's bringing the wood to the train. And then I think the train just like speeds up the more people you have. Might be
that
the
makes
case.
sense. Yeah, I was curious
to make it difficult. I haven't even like that's another thing that I think is really cool is like I can't see the mechanic they're utilizing to make it difficult. I just know it feels the same amount of difficult regardless of people. But it's not like obvious to me that there's an artificial thing making it more or less difficult.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I felt like easy felt easy. I felt like medium felt like just enough that I was like challenged. I thought everything felt super balanced. Really good recommendation. Really good pick. I think I was like I talked about it in the last episode, like going into this a little bit more hesitant and kind of thinking, okay, is this gonna be a stressed out game that I'm gonna have, be playing? And so yeah, I got like I just want to keep playing this. I think to me, what I'm feeling like is this is a more positive experience of it, but like I think you and like how do I explain this? You had a very small interaction with Root and want to play more of it to get a full feel of it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with this. Is like what I played, I really enjoyed. And I want to see how much that gets pushed. So
awesome.
I am going to give it a temporary rating of 32 teeth with the ability to
of
say
how many?
like out of 32, I'm thinking. So I want to almost say 30.
Oh.
But I think what I'm going to say is I'll say 27 with the ability to go up to 31.
Okay. I like this.
27.
I'm feeling good about myself now.
If I don't play any more of it and I just play the same thing, I'd probably give it like a 28.
Awesome. Okay.
But I'm going to say 27. Won't go any lower.
Yeah, but room to improve.
But room to improve.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We'll get it there.
From experience from me. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's interesting because it makes me start thinking, and we always talk about this. We just have to because it's just this is just the core of the show.
Sure.
But like when you recommend me a thing, and I think it's like with video games, you're really good at picking games that are like they know what they are. You know what they are. And I'm just like, is that the case with all of your recommendations? And it's just that you know what it is and you like it, and I don't like the thing that it is. Or like, it would just be weird if I was like, there's no like level up system in Unrailed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a piece of me that I'm like,
it's not meant to do that. Yeah,
it's not meant to do that. So like, there's a piece of me I'm like, we had that whole conversation with like Nick D. We were like, I want you to like lower your
standards.
Your standards a bit. Like you said it in a nicer way, but basically like I want you to lower your standards. And to me, I'm like, Unrailed is like it's just doing what it's trying to do well. And I love it for that. Where like some of the shows you've recommended or Nick D or whoever, I'm like, I feel like I'm walking in with a pretty low expectation and what I want, and I feel like I'm not getting that, or there's something specific that's really pulling me out.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Because I'm like, Hades, it's like the play loop's great. Unrailed, I'm loving the play loop. I just want to play more of it. I don't play it when I want something super deep.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to sit and I want to feel cooperative with people. Like I want to feel like we're doing something. And I also want it to be a quick play, not like an ongoing Minecraft server or something.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Isaiah, 27 teeth. Out of 32 with the room to improve to, what I say, 30?
31. You said 31. Yeah.
31.
I'll take it.
That's the highest it can go.
I think that's one of the higher ratings that you've given something I've recommended.
I think so.
I'll take it.
I gotta, we really gotta look back, and we really gotta think. Like, I gotta look at what I've been rating things and see if it like actually lines up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, part of me's like, does it deserve that high of a rating? But I'm like, it knows what it is. It's great.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't want to give it a lower rating because there's another game I play that is quote unquote better than that.
Yeah,
like, I'm not gonna compare Unrailed to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Like, that would just be dumb.
It'd be wild. Yeah.
So I think my ratings are very specific to like that. I'm determining this is the lane.
This
right?
category, this lane.
Yeah. It's like, Hades is like a roguelike, and Unrailed is a video game that's a kind of more of a party co-op game, and Jujutsu Kaisen anime, like whatever. You know?
Sure. Yeah. You're rating it in its category. I think that's the only fair way to do it.
Yeah, because you can't start comparing. I can't compare Notion to Unrailed.
Yeah.
And go, which one do I like better?
How would you possibly do that? Yeah.
Yeah. Which, if I haven't given Notion a 30, like at least a 30, I need to go
bump
back
that up, retroactively bump that up.
Retroactively, not proactively. The opposite of that.
Yeah.
Bump it up to at least a 30. But yeah, one of us has got to go through and listen through all episodes.
I am worried.
Put it in our Notion board of what our ratings are.
I am a little worried that I'm never going to live up to Notion. I might have peaked at Notion.
I believe no. Well, okay, it depends what you mean by peaked. If peak is like the thing that has most actively changed my life, yes, you have peaked.
So yes.
But I would say I've peaked with Magic.
Oh, that was a while back.
That was the first episode.
Yeah.
Wait, was it? No. Wingspan was first episode.
Yeah, second episode.
Then second episode.
Yeah.
So as I talked to the guy with how many decks is that now? 7. No, 8.
It's 8.
8 commander decks, which
yeah, more standard decks.
Yeah, exactly. So we both peaked.
Yeah.
Great recommendation though.
Great, good to hear. Glad you liked it. I'm looking forward to playing with it.
Super on the nose for video games.
I feel like my video game ones have been good ones so far.
Yeah, I think we're both just in very similar spaces for what we want from a game.
Yeah, and it's easy to peg those.
Yeah. Where I think TV shows and movies, that's where it's kind of
up in the
Wild West.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any more Full Brother. Oh my gosh, I literally never say it right. Never. Every time I'm explaining to someone, I say at least 16 times incorrectly.
I love it.
I've been watching your long recommendation that you gave me. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
F and A, dude. Oh my gosh.
You got it. You got there.
And I haven't watched any new episodes yet, but
Okay. Well, I haven't even started WoW yet, so
I know. I'm like watching, I'm like, Glenn's gonna need a hustle time down the road.
We'll get there.
Babe, I need to take off work for the next
next week. I got vacation days.
Okay. That would be insane.
Do what I got to do.
All right, let's go to our transition segment.
Yeah.
Mom phrases.
Oh, yay, they're back. Oh, I love this segment. Yes, hit me.
So, this is one that I've heard her say a lot.
Okay.
I'll just throw it out there, because some of them I think are a little bit more normal than others. So like this can be a side one, but scot-free.
Oh yeah, I've heard scot-free.
That's like a fairly normal. Okay.
Yeah. Get off scot-free.
However,
I don't know the origin of scot-free, but okay.
I don't either. But you know, it's like no consequences, whatever. You're scot-free.
You got a free pass. Yeah.
That one I just throw in because you don't hear people say that.
Yeah, not really.
A lot, and like I'm just gonna show on the camera.
Oh my god.
And you. Like,
oh my god, so many. That'll last us a while.
There's quite a few. So that'll be a freebie.
Okay.
You know, we'll just jump. The next one, however,
sure.
Hot chocolate warms your cockles.
Ryan, you got to know that doesn't sound good. You got to know that doesn't sound good, Ryan.
Glenn, I'm an adult Man, I'm not laughing at silly
Hot
words
chocolate
like hot chocolate.
warms your cockles.
Cockles.
Okay, I mean the big question is what the hell is a cockle? That's the question here.
So let's.
Wow.
Warms your cockles.
Warms your cockles.
Warms the. So when something warms the cockles of our heart, it references to something pleasant that makes our heart beat faster and makes us feel good.
Okay,
This is what I'm saying.
I feel like warms the heart makes sense, but what's a cockle? Is a cockle a part of the heart?
Also, the origin of the saying that something gives us warm and fuzzy feelings. Cockles of your heart. This is the thing about my mom's phrases is there's always a real origin.
Yeah, they're always real.
But what is said is just like 10% off. Just 10% off, but that 10% is everything you need for it to make full sense.
Yes.
In my head, cockles was like your tonsils, or like that's where my head went with it. I literally looked it up now with what that means. Warms the cockles of one's heart.
A cockle is an edible marine mollusk.
I don't think
that can't be right.
That cannot be what is being referenced.
Cockles of the heart. The cockles of the heart are its ventricles. Named by
what a weird concept. Like it's almost.
Why do they have two names? I don't understand.
And it feels like an old-timey saying. But it's also like
it's a saying though. Warms the cockles of one's heart. That's wild.
That feels like
That's
it warms up
my
the blood vessels of my it's just like it feels like such a specific call out to a thing.
Why
like
can't you just say
not
it warms
the heart,
your heart?
Like I'm gonna name out a biological part of your heart.
Of the heart, not the whole heart.
Weird. It's
specifically the ventricles.
Sent shivers through my femur. It's like what? Like just say body. Just say bones. Like why do you have to reference a specific?
Oh my god, that's too good.
So that's
I'm excited for this segment every time we record.
It's good.
It's so good.
Yeah, there's a couple. The next one's pretty tame, but we got some fun ones. And it's growing, you know.
Oh, I love it.
The most recent one is wild to me too. But we'll
get there.
By the time we get there, I will have lost all
memory of it.
All memory of what it meant or what she was saying.
Best part.
All right.
That's so good.
So,
yeah.
My recommendation.
Yeah, what are you hitting me with, Ryan? What are you hitting me with?
So I'm going to hit you with a music genre.
An entire genre you're hitting me with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, man, there's so much I want to talk about in this space. So you just cut me off. So I've been having this feeling.
Okay.
There's been these Instagram accounts and TikTok accounts and stuff that like they will like look for a very specific niche genre of music, listen to a bunch of it, and then do a review of that genre. And like the idea is like there's such specific things that like they name a genre like I've never heard of that in my life. And it's made me start to think about this idea of like how genres are kind of dead, like pop genre, you know, like pop, country, rap, like all that stuff is so because the entry point to like start making music is so low now, which is not a bad thing. It is like
I feel like those genres have just been chopped up into little pieces so much.
Exactly. I mean like rap on TikTok is now a genre. Like TikTok rap is a genre.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's just kind of interesting to watch that. But I need to walk you through my experience of finding this.
Okay.
So the genre is called funk. PHONK. So you call it funk, but it's funk.
Funk. I feel like you've brought this up to me before.
I have. Yeah, I've brought it up. It's probably not I've brought it up multiple times.
Okay.
So and this is a deep poll, so I just need to make sure I got all the tabs open real quick. So it started with me finding this, like, I think it was on Instagram. No, it was on YouTube, and it was like a reel. No, not short. It's so annoying how all of them have different names.
I know, it's the worst.
Because I don't want to be like, I found it on TikTok because I'm not on TikTok.
Yeah.
But like, part of me is also like, they're all TikToks though, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, a reel or a short or whatever. I'm just like,
reels and shorts are just TikToks that have been uploaded to
exactly
the other platforms. Yeah.
So I was watching a TikTok,
yeah.
and it was this really like bumping music to this weird Soviet Russian animation, and it's lined up, and it's Dr. Livesey. I think it's pronounced Dr. Livesey. It's Livesey.
Okay.
And it's just like samples from the song, from the show, are in the song. And it's like, and I was like, oh, it's just like one of those songs that kind of is like super catchy. I watched it for a couple seconds and I moved on. And then as I kept going through it, like through YouTube, there were different versions of like different characters doing that walk to this song. So like,
okay,
this is a little confusing. I'm just gonna send you the video real quick.
Okay.
So there might be some cutting out of weird awkward silences. Okay, so here we go. So should I just text this to you?
Sure.
Pull it up.
Yeah,
you can pull it up on your
fine.
phone. Okay, so this is kind of my first interaction with this. And I would say, like, watch a couple seconds and then skip into like 25 seconds in.
Okay, 1 sec here. I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
What am I watching?
As soon as he says, oh shit, in the song, and then they start walking, to let me know as soon as that goes for a little bit.
Okay.
Just say, oh, they said it when it gets to that part. Maybe I'll throw it in the video, like I'll have it play under your response.
What? Oh, they just said it. What? They're
right,
just walking. What? Okay.
So then I see that, right? And I'm like, I don't think anything of it. I'm like, this is just a weird thing that someone
Just
sampled from
a weird internet thing, yeah.
But then
Are you about to send me another video?
I'm going to send you another video.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the next video I found. Because I kept seeing cuts of this video.
I didn't even make it like 10% through that video.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's such a long video.
So then I'm sending you this. Just skip through this.
What am I looking at, Ryan? I don't want to click this link. The title has 55 memes in it.
And just like scrub through. They have like an anime version at like a minute 26, which is really well done.
At minute 26?
Yeah. They got Team Fortress, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Rainbow Friends, some Roblox, and it's an hour. It's not an hour. Okay, it's 14.
Wait,
it's 15 minutes.
It's all the same song.
Yeah. But it's just different characters to it.
And it's like different animations of the same. What am I watching? What?
Okay. So you have to imagine I'm watching this with no understanding of any of this. And I start to go down this
without context. My man, that's confusing.
So basically, I'm like, what is going on?
Sure.
The song's a bop, first off. Like it goes so hard.
It's a good
song.
So
good.
Yeah.
But what is happening here? And so it sends me, I'm like searching Dr. Livesey or whatever the hell his name is, and then it's like Funk Walk.
Okay.
PHONKWALK. I was like, what is that? So then I look into that and I realize it's this whole genre of music called funk. And it originates from, I don't know what it is about this song. This song just blew up as a meme, and then a bunch of people just kept doing it over and over again.
As the internet does. Yeah.
But now that one and that song is called Why Not by Ghostface Playa.
Okay.
So I created a playlist that you can listen to.
Okay.
That you can go through.
I appreciate that.
But the origins of this type of music basically originates from Memphis rap in the mid late 90s. And what happened was you had a bunch of people producing rap with the lyrics were usually really intense and violent, and the beats and the instruments used in it were all from their like 808s, which is like it's like a sampler, or basically like the keyboards that would have like the cowbell and the different sounds.
Yeah.
So they would use that for melodies, and it creates a really specific sound. So that happens, and then it gets picked up in Russia during when people started to get really into like street racing and drifting and like modding cars.
Okay.
And then it came back to the United States where it's blown up even more and now has a lot of this Japanese anime undertones. And like, I guarantee there's some songs you're like, I know for a fact you'll listen to a song and go, this is a TikTok song. Because it's
I'm sure I've heard it all over. Like, even just listening to that song, I'm sure I've heard it on TikTok.
Like, there's the Giga Chad song. I don't know if, like, we don't need to go into that because I feel like you don't know what that is. Do you know what Giga Chad is?
I'm familiar, I think.
Yeah. So it's just like
it's a meme,
it's a meme, but there's like a song that is like connected to that.
Yeah,
meme.
I didn't realize there was a song. Okay.
And
you're making me feel so old.
I got a younger brother I got a younger brother and sister who both keep me informed.
That's fair.
Keep me on trend. But I do have to say, I found this music before it showed up on TikTok, and I found this video like before I like really started to hear it. Maybe I'm late and my algorithm just wasn't right. I know.
So before the trends.
That's what I gotta say. So the best way I can describe this is, you mentioned that you were kind of working out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I am, yeah.
This playlist
you've noticed?
is, yeah. You stand up, you got like a six-pack. Yeah, I noticed it through all your sweaters that you're wearing. Why do you have so many sweaters right now?
It's cold.
Cold for 2 sweaters inside your house?
It's a sweater and a jacket, and my window's open, so
it's a sweater and another sweater over a t-shirt.
That
makes it worse. A jacket that makes it worse.
It's a light jacket.
Okay. All right.
Get off my case.
Okay. This music is the music you listen to when you're doing something that you have to do but don't want to.
Okay. So I do need to cut in here. Okay. Because I definitely got that vibe from it. I was like, ooh, I wanna do something right now. I wanna walk. I wanna do this walk right now already. But it did kind of remind me a little bit of, I've been listening to these like anime gym playlists that have somewhat of a similar vibe, where it's like weird music and then like lines from animes cut in and mixed in there with like very like my only touchstone is like EDM or like techie kind of music.
I would say like my way of describing this so far is like lo-fi EDM. Everything kind of and like
okay.
And I would almost say with what you're saying that you have listened to it, but I think some of the stuff in this playlist is that touches in the more anime side.
Yeah.
Some of it touches into more of the Memphis side, some of it more into the Russian like street side.
Yeah, okay.
But
okay.
there's
so it gets me a little deeper into the genre that I haven't explored.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So like I think it won't feel new. I think the one thing about this music is like I'll listen to it when I'm working out. I've also like listened to it if I really have to do something that's like, which is weird, but like accounting or something where I'm just needing to plug in a lot of numbers.
Something you have to do but don't want to.
And I just get into that zone.
Yeah.
It really works. But like I think it's been cool to think about playing music as like, excuse me, rather than like playing a song to try and match the mood I'm in. It's like playing music to get into the headspace
to drive the mood
that I'm trying to get into. And like
I honestly do need a lot more of this in my life. I need more music that drives me to be in a specific mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like the best time, like the best one is just like hit play, lift, workout, and then also like, and just be, and don't like tunnel vision. Just let this be the only thing that's like, you know, get in that space. But I think there are some, and not all these are created evenly or
equally.
Thank you. I got my mom's
sounded
mom's
like your
thing.
mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know, Glenn. It goes deep. So yeah, there's like some of these that I think were hit really hard. I tend to not be super into the rap ones with like a lot of rap because I'm just like, okay, like it's so in your face. But there's a couple of them in there that they just hit too hard. They hit so hard that I gotta listen to it.
I'm excited to listen to this playlist. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Funky Town. PHONKY. I do have to remove some of these.
Is this a playlist that you have made?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if people wanna listen to it, it's Ryan M847.
Yeah, I don't know how to like look for a playlist you've made on Spotify, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Does it have like a cover image?
No, I should add one. That I'll have to be one of those people.
I mean, there's like a lot of them that say Funky Town.
Okay. Yeah.
So like I don't know.
Not new. I just sent it to you. I just texted it to you.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm trying to think of some. Here's some of my like favorites. I'll just kind of go through them real quick. Twilight. Twilight's a good one. Send Nudes is another good one.
Okay.
Rave is great. Disaster. There's so many good ones. There's a couple that stick out, like Overdose is another good one.
That's a good sized playlist, my friend.
I've been working on it.
This is a good sized playlist.
The last couple are ones you're probably more like the last
2.5 hours.
Yeah. And they're all like under 5 minutes. Some of them are like 1:30.
Yeah, some of these have very anime front covers.
Yes. Especially the last ones. I've been getting more into the last ones, but there's a couple I do need to remove. Like the stuff from Moon.
It's not like hidden.
I don't think it's like as coherent to
the
style. Yeah, like I threw them in because I thought they
curate
fit.
a bit.
I gotta trim them up a little bit.
Okay.
There's some that are actually kind of chiller. Like I think the song Call Me is kind of a chiller one, but still good. But I don't really need to explain it more. Like you'll get into it, you'll feel it. I think if someone's like not currently already listening to it or checking out or watching the video that I will put in the description, like I think that's the thing is it's these cowbells used for melody and just peaking, and the beats are used and like are also kind of peaking and like almost breaking. and then the rap is like say the most intense thing as you can as fast as you can. Like it's like rap god kind of thing.
Okay.
But just for the whole time. And it's just all of it feels like immense sensory overload.
Oh.
I'm just going to throw like you can't think about anything right now because of this music.
Yeah. I need that.
So yeah,
I
exactly.
Love that.
I'm like,
okay.
And like, go for a run listening to this. It's great. Do whatever you have to. It's purely capturing the feeling of like the anime training scene.
Yeah.
And getting to the point
the
where
montage,
you can like sheath your sword and the stone cracks in half. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you're like, this is my anime arc. Like this is that music that gets you to the headspace.
Okay, I need this vibe.
I wanted to say this music is already like not trendy anymore, not cool.
We've passed it.
It was interesting for maybe a week, like 6 months ago.
Cool.
And now it's a meme. But like, here's two grandpas talking
for
about.
Two guys in their late 20s, we're right on track, about 6 months behind schedule.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe even more. But,
Love it.
Yeah, funk. It's big fan.
Okay.
It's interesting too because I think a lot of the music is like the same melody or the same thing, just kind of remixed by someone. It's interesting. You'll kind of see what I mean, but yeah, it's good.
Cool. I can't wait. This will be good.
So we'll have your review next episode of this.
Yeah.
And then you sounds like you have something kind
I
of
already
special.
got something locked and loaded for next episode. I'm very excited about it.
Okay.
So,
awesome.
Should be good.
Well, do you want to, should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
You don't have the thing locked and loaded?
No. So, we have to talk about this. So, last episode, we set up that we're going to do a chess move at the end of each episode to close it out. And Ryan made the first move and set up a game for us last week. Mm-hmm. And you set up the game where the chess pieces are randomly placed on the board. And I feel like we can't do that for the podcast.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, Glenn. I'll just... Oh, because when you and I were playing, we were doing really weird.
We were playing this game mode where like the back row is like randomly assigned, so like everything but the pawn is scrambled. But we need to play a standard game for the podcast.
That's fair. Okay, my retcon is E4. Okay. Pawn to E4. I'm Ryan signing off.
I'm Glenn signing off. Pawn to C5.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks. All right.